This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Well, we have new tag team champions in JD McDonough and Finn Balor, who once again recapture those championships. The New Day no longer are champions, and I will say one of the more disappointing title runs and heel turns out of the New Day. They've had a gazillion title runs. We know how many times they've been tag team champions. It feels like 80% of the career they've been tag team champions, and most of the time, to be honest, kind of forgettable. But this one had some hope. This run with the New Day started out so promising. It started out with an awesome heel turn. A heel turn we never thought we'd see out of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And it incorporated Big E, who we thought at some point may be incorporated into the story at the Rumble or WrestleMania. Neither of which happened. The New Day went on to just retain at WrestleMania in a ho-hum match that could have easily been just a random match on SmackDown. And then you're thinking, all right, well, maybe they're getting Big E ready, or they're getting some big fiery run ready for the New Day. And we kept waiting and waiting and forgot about it and waited. And then a couple months went by and we were like, oh, yeah, that's right. And here we are with the New Day in one of the more disappointing runs as tag team champions that I've seen, maybe out of their entire career. Because even as babyfaces, when they were, running around as tag team champions, you either loved them or you didn't. And if you loved them, it was a good time. And they certainly were very entertaining, sold a lot of merch, and they were generally a cash cow for WWE. You're thinking, okay, they're never going to turn heel, and then they turn heel, and it was awesome. And ever since that moment, it's been downhill. Big E never returned. The attention quickly fell off of Big E, or rather, not just Big E, but also Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They had some fun little moments where they started to catch a little bit of fire again, and then it would get cooled off. There was clearly no plan. This is the problem that has plagued WWE from the Vince McMahon era and is carried over to the Triple H, Paul Levesque era. Netflix era, whatever you want to call it. It's not the Netflix era because only Raw is on Netflix. The PLEs aren't on Netflix. SmackDown's not on Netflix. So it's the Paul Levesque era, okay? Because that encompasses every brand. But my point is there was clearly no plan. No plan other than just to keep them as tag team champions for several months with no payoff. No payoff to turn one of the biggest babyface teams of all time heel with absolutely no payoff. Other than just, we'll tease Big E, we'll use him as a vehicle to get these two guys over even more as heels, and it worked, except the problem is, ever since that point, they have been on a downward trajectory. Their plane never landed. It just crashed and burned. And that sucks because there is a lot in the Xavier heel character. Kofi is just, to me, in my own opinion, inherently unlikable. So I think that they really missed the boat here. And look, these two aren't fired. Obviously, they're still employed. There's still possibly a singles career ready for Xavier Woods as a heel. But they lost a lot of steam since that moment of turning heel on Big E. And it's a shame, man. I really had high hopes for this team. Yes, I wanted it to culminate with a Big E matchup or even just interference by Big E where he doesn't even get physically involved. He doesn't need to risk his health. He doesn't need to take a bump at all. He just comes out, just distracts one of the guys, costs them the championship. That's at least something. But instead, this storyline over the last 6 months has done nothing, more than 6 months, served up a big fat helping of nothing burger. So it's disappointing, man. And so they lost the tag team titles to Finn Balor and JD. And hey, I'm happy for them. Maybe you can reinvigorate the tag titles. I say that half serious because we all know how WWE generally feels about tag titles. Just look at the women's division. And yes, the men's division too often gets ignored for the tag titles. But it's good for Xavier, or rather, it's good for Finn and it's good for JD. Finn needs a championship. Now all of the members of the of Judgment Day are holding gold again, if I'm not mistaken, with JD and Finn as tag team champions. Dom is Intercontinental Champion. Roxanne and Raquel are also the women's tag team title champions. So every member is holding a championship. Now, that doesn't include Liv. We're talking about present active members of the Judgment Day. So there were rumors too about earlier this week, a couple days ago, about an injury that Rhea Ripley suffered during the match with Raquel at the PLE this past Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions. And it doesn't seem like there is an injury here, or if there is, it's not as serious as once thought, because she is moving full steam ahead. WWE is moving full steam ahead with the Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley matchup. And I know a lot of people are a little bit put off by this match, not for the quality of it, but for the way that it was presented. And I can understand that. I can understand why it is a little bit off-putting. And the reason that I'm being given is because Iyo Sky is the one who's the champion looking for challengers. She's the one who's going around trying to, quote-unquote, look for the best competition. Which, yeah, I agree that is a little bit ridiculous. It shouldn't be the champion's responsibility to go around seeking out the best competition. Now, Gunther does it, but he does it in a way that's cocky, arrogant, better than thou. That he wants real competition, and that's all fine. It fits his character, but with Iyo, I get it. It is a little bit heavy-handed, and we don't really have a story. Neither woman is turning heel, so we're gonna make it all about respect and pure competition. And so it's fine. I'm not gonna hammer WWE. It is a little bit kind of eye-rolling, but I get it. However, guys, those of you that are criticizing how this match came about, look at the quality of the match we're gonna get here. WrestleMania again. It may not live up to as good as the WrestleMania match, which was just excellent. We all know what that match produced, which was just incredible. Absolutely incredible in that triple threat. But we got 2 out of the 3 pieces here, and they are more than capable of putting on an absolute clinic. So look at the quality of the match we're going to get. Now, it is about match quality, obviously, but also maybe where they go from here. If they're looking to have Rhea Ripley reclaim the belt, they could do it here. It is Evolution 2. It's been several years since the first Evolution. I mean, what was it, 5-6 years ago? The first Evolution PLE, at that time pay-per-view. And right now, the card for Evolution is, five deep right now. We have 5 matches deep already, and this match was just added last night, as I said. But the other matches that are taking place on July 13th, a couple weeks away, JC Jane with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Raquel and Roxanne versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus 2 teams to be determined for a fatal 4-way tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. And then there's going to be a Women's World Championship match for the Clash in Paris, but the winner of the Battle Royal here, participants to be determined, will receive that award. So they're going to get a World Championship match at Clash in Paris. And then Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus for the Women's Championship. That right now is the card. And I have no reason to believe that Tiffany Stratton is going to drop the belt to Trish Stratus and then having Trish Stratus facing Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. There's just no way. It's Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill, I would imagine. And there's a lot of anxiety and backlash from the whole reaction, or rather lack thereof, for Jade Cargill's victory at the event here at Night of Champions in Riyadh. And I went over this on my review here, my review show that I did for Night of Champions. but it's worth revisiting. The reason is that Jade, again, believes somehow that she is owed a certain type of reaction. It tells you that she doesn't understand or pretends to not understand how this business works. Really, not even how this business, how life works. People react emotionally and will give their time and money for something they believe in. Go to any professional sport. Go to a baseball game, an NFL game. Again, go through the major sports. Go to a theater. Watch your local play. Go to a movie. Watch a TV show. When do people get the most invested? When they emotionally connect with the characters and understand the story. Are we emotionally connected to you, Jade? Do we have any reason to emotionally invest in you? Your physical appearance doesn't create an emotional connection. It creates a physical connection. A lot of it for straight males. I get it. I understand why. And that though in and of itself doesn't create, in today's day and age, in today's wrestling fan, create a reaction among the male fan base. They may look with their eyes, but they're not using their voice to express their appreciation for Jade, if that's the sole reason that they appreciate Jade. Okay. But Jade, on the other hand, hasn't given us a real reason to connect with her. We have no idea who and what she is. She feels very superficial. She looks like $4 million. She looks like she was crafted out from an artist that specializes in what women's champions should look like. She may look the best I've ever seen from a physical appearance in what you'd want an athletic powerhouse woman to look like. She may be the most physically perfect human being to ever grace the women's side of wrestling. From a pure visual standpoint, she looks like she could market, right? Like really like anything. Like I understand why WWE was interested in her. She has a hell of a physical appeal. But the problem is, as shiny as that product is, as nice as that product is, if the fans and the consumer have no reason to invest in it, if they don't feel like they're going to get anything out of it, if they don't understand what the character is, how can they relate? Then they're not going to. And they're not going to react. Or they'll boo. And Jade saw both of those things at Night of Champions. It's that simple. Of course, you're hearing the race baiters out there. It's racism. Somebody in the crowd, you might have already seen that floating around, saying "F you, Jade, F you, Jade," and then Jade clapped back and said "Your mama" or something about your mom. I don't know. Some 14-year-old, middle school clapback. I mean, it was embarrassing. But regardless, that tells you kind of everything you need to know about the whole race thing. First of all, F you has been said to probably thousands of previous wrestlers that have ever existed, right? And we didn't scream racism, but today's day and age, today's culture, a little bit different. And not that I agree with it, but I know why people are screaming it. But because it's a lot of times it deodorizes what the actual issue is, which is just that your character sucks. And I want Jade to succeed because I understand why WWE invested in her. I do. And I do hope she succeeds. And I have seen strides in the ring. But there's that one massive, dare I say, most important, most crucial element to success as a wrestler. And that is emotional connection with the fans. That's it. It's really that simple. I didn't say it's easy. I said it's simple. It's simple to understand what, as a human being, connects you to another human being, even if it's vicariously, and that is relatability. And she has very little of it. And we also don't understand who and what she is. We understand she's very impressed with her looks. We understand she's very impressed with how she smells, apparently. We're told that we're supposed to be very impressed with her makeup and her muscles and her physique and her upper area, her lower area, all the areas. We're supposed to be very impressed by this, and we're supposed to cheer her based on this. Okay, and yes, she has improved in the ring, and that is important, and I give her credit. But there's that aspect, hey man, you got to be able to cut promos, or they can start doing vignettes, or rather sit-down promos or video packages. Give us a little bit about Jade's childhood. Let us hear from her peers. Let us hear from her family. Humanize Jade. If you don't, there is nothing inherently relatable about how she looks and how she acts for 99% of people. Can anyone in this earth that is a wrestling fan relate to how Jade looks? No, most of us cannot, men included. So when you have only the one massive card to play, but there's no other pillars holding up this house, the house is going to crumble. And right now, Jade Cargill is seeing that. She is seeing that right now, and she refuses to accept that that is the problem. Again, I'm not talking to her backstage. We don't know what the conversations are, but it really kind of lends itself to be self-evident that she doesn't seem to understand that is the problem. And look, I'm not saying promos are easy, but they're crucial in your line of work. You don't have to be John Cena. You don't have to be The Rock. You don't have to be some other great talkers here. I would even put Drew McIntyre up there. Okay, Drew McIntyre, underrated. I think as good as he is, I think sometimes he's even better than most of us realize. I miss Drew so much. But he doesn't need to be a silver-tongued devil, right? She doesn't. But she needs to be able to communicate and connect. She just needs to connect, and she hasn't found that connection, which is resulting in this booing and this non-reaction. So there's my spiel again about Jade, who I want to be very clear. I want her to succeed. I'm pulling for her, but also I can understand why. If I was in an arena, I wouldn't cheer for her. Yet I'm pulling for her. I'm not going to fake a reaction. See, that's the thing. People don't manufacture reactions. They're either authentic or they aren't. You don't go to a wrestling event or any sporting event or any entertainment venue, spend your hard-earned money, spend your time, and then go to these events and manufacture a cheer or a boo or whatever. You don't do that. You actually, that's the one thing that is really hard to fake. And I would argue has it ever been faked? Has anyone ever gone to a wrestling event or any entertainment or sports event and faked a cheering or booing just to cheer or boo? No. So it has to come from a place of reality, of authenticity. And Jade has not tapped into that. And it'll continue to hinder her progress. If they make her champion at SummerSlam, at the current trajectory she's at, which is essentially a plateau, the fans will outright boo her. I don't think that there's any way, or they'll just do what they did in Saudi Arabia and just not react. That's the worst thing you can do. It's the last thing you want to hear is crickets. And right now, Jade is unfortunately hearing crickets. So, I don't know how the hell I got on that tangent again, but so be it. Talking about Raw. Damn. She wasn't even on Raw. I was talking about Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky. So, my goodness. Where do I go? I don't even know if I'll be able to get through the rest of Raw now. I've only got a certain amount of time, and I'm 20 minutes, and I've already talked about one thing. By the way, welcome to the show. Long open here. If you want to join us on the Patreon side of things and go ad-free, patreon.com/WWE podcast is a good place to go to get everything you hear here ad-free, as well as on Apple Podcasts. You click on the little subscribe button, and you're getting every show we do ad-free, as well as an exclusive show. It's called After Dark, which is available only to those on Apple and on Patreon at the NXT Plus and above level. So, let's continue here. Let's talk about, we already talked about the New Day losing. We don't need to bring that back up. That was the first match. Let's see. We then had a Goldberg video package air. He focused on his winning streak in WCW. It included footage of his WWE run. And that was effective. It's about as effective as you're going to see Goldberg ever be, even if he's in the arena. I would argue it's more effective than if he was actually there. Because Goldberg is not about promos. Never has been, to be fair. His is simply about look, intensity, and nostalgia, which a lot of us still have for Goldberg. And look, I'm not going to sit here and trash him. We all know how limited he is in the ring. He would admit it himself. Good family man. And Gunther destroyed him in the promo. We'll talk about that in a minute. It was just great. So, by the way, SmackDown moving to 2 hours starting Friday night. Do I hear the light of the angels coming down upon us? Good. 2 hour SmackDown episodes. Good. They should be. No show for wrestling should ever be 3 hours unless it's a PLE. There's just no need for 3 hours. Now, of course, if you're actually part of the show and you're trying to get minutes, you have a differing opinion. But for the vast majority of audience, the members that are listening even to this would probably agree 3 hours, it's just too much. It's just too much. So 2 hours for SmackDown is just perfect. So a lot of speculation, too, that Ludwig Kaiser is the new Grande Americano. I think that's been confirmed because he has like a birthmark or something on his arm that's been seen, and it matches what Kaiser had. So it's probably Ludwig Kaiser as Chad Gable's injured. So we then have, let's see here. I'm leaving out some backstage stuff, but in the interest of time here, Sheamus and Rusev goes 20 minutes. And the finish is both men ending up fighting for position on the top rope. Rusev thumbed Sheamus' eye. He then removed the covering of the turnbuckle and put Sheamus into it. And Rusev followed up with a Machka kick and got the 3 count. And they got an actual finish. That's something. Rusev beats Sheamus. It's good to see Rusev actually doing something instead of just in a 2-minute video package that he's been getting on Raw for the last several months. And it's, since his return, it's been a slight letdown. He hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. He's not Aleister Black levels of irrelevance since his return. He's a couple notches above that, but not in a great position, although he's shown that he can still go with the best of them. And Sheamus is an underappreciated talent that I don't think we'll realize how good he was until he leaves. And Rusev and Sheamus still have a hell of a chemistry. Rusev winning is the right call. You're trying to get a guy over that has returned relatively recently, and you want him to get a little bit of momentum. So Rusev winning here should put the nail in the coffin of this program. Okay. So Sami Zayn was spotted by Jackie Redmond, who attempted to talk with him, and Karrion Kross attacked Zayn, ran him into a production crate, grabbed a pipe that he struck Zayn's ribs with, and that's it. So, yeah, so Sami Zayn now apparently has either quote-unquote broken or bruised ribs. Karrion Kross, even though he lost to Sami Zayn, is not forgetting it. WWE is not done with this program. I thought they would be, but they're not, and I don't mind it for Karrion Kross' sake, because Karrion Kross, he hasn't exactly either been lighting the world on fire. His match with Sami at the Night of Champions event, I think I said this in my review, was started off pretty damn slow for the first half it was really slow. Then it picked up and it ended with a loss, but still one that was a good match for Karrion Kross. Good. I didn't say great. I didn't say career defining, but it was one that was good. Something you can build on is the best way I would put it. The most optimistic way I could put it is something that Karrion Kross can build on, and it seems as if WWE has a little bit of faith in Karrion and giving him more opportunity to work with Sami. So then we had Goldberg, and Gunther talk about Goldberg. He said he was there to talk about Bill Goldberg, and he was impressed by the video package, and he said that just like the matches, it was all summed up in about 3 minutes for the fans. I think that that went over the head of a few fans. I mean, I expected more of a laugh or some kind of moment with that, and the fans didn't really react. And maybe Gunther didn't enunciate his words as well as he could have in that sentence, but that was a great line. Anyway, Gunther said that Goldberg had every right to claim he was the most feared man of his generation, but he said he's not afraid of what's left of Goldberg, and said he's a 58-year-old man who wants to ride out his career on Gunther's coattails. And Gunther said Goldberg isn't capable of taking the title from him, whereas he is very capable of beating Goldberg in less than 3 minutes. And Gunther he said that that's not going to happen, though, because he intends to take his time, take Goldberg apart, blow him up, outclass and embarrass him in front of everyone who is near and dear to him. And Gunther recalled Goldberg saying he doesn't like bullies. He said, quote, "Too bad you bumped into the biggest bully around here." And Gunther said people wondered if Bill Goldberg still has it, but he's going to expose that Goldberg never had it. And he said that he's going to be the one who's asking who's next. That's when Seth Rollins' entrance music hits. He comes to the ring with Paul Heyman. And he recalled vowing that CM Punk would not become a world champion in WWE as long as there's a breath in his body. And Rollins said he flew across the world to make good on that statement, and also recalled saying that when he won Money in the Bank, it would be an all-out assault on both world titles. CM Punk then comes out, runs to the ring, attacks Rollins, who fled through the steps. And as he's leaving, Gunther hooked his arm with Punk's. Punk turned around and shoved Gunther down. So that was an interesting little revelation. I don't know if Punk and Gunther have yet had any kind of interaction in the ring yet, so something to keep an eye on. Rollins was at the top of the steps in the crowd, and that's when LA Knight showed up behind Rollins, hit him with a bag of popcorn, and they fought through the concourse. Rollins grabbed a beer, threw it at Knight, and yeah, it's funny analysis I'm reading right now. It says after Rollins threw the beer at Knight, the commentary says that'll be $15, please. I mean that I'm laughing because it's just true. I mean, if you go and get a beer at a wrestling event or really any sporting event, it's probably $15 in some cases. Yes, you may be getting a 16 ounce or 18 ounce beer draft, whatever, but are you kidding? And we all pay it. If you like the beer at the events, you don't care. Well, boy, they're making bank off of you. I mean, that's about more than double what you pay at a bar. I mean, and those drafts are just Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Light. It's nothing special. And then if you want a specialty beer, you get like a Heineken. I mean, I think they ask you to take out a second mortgage on your home, or, you got to have some kind of collateral that they make sure you have in order to get a specialty beer. So, I mean, it's just wild. All righty. So then there was a vote backstage about Roxanne Perez and if she should join the Judgment Day officially, and they all agreed yes, although a few of them begrudgingly. Interestingly, Dom did say yes, but kind of hesitantly, knowing what Liv would do. And, Raquel did say yes, although, again, she was the most hesitant. And the interesting piece here was not that Roxanne's in. We kind of knew that she was unofficially in it anyway, in the Judgment Day. So her and Raquel can hold the women's tag titles, and that's fine. But the interesting piece to this segment that I took out is that I believe it was Finn who said that Liv is rehabbing 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it was, to try to come back as quickly as she can. Is that a hint that she could potentially be coming back way sooner than we think? The reports are that it was originally, 4 to 7 months, something around that. 6 months is about average. Just in time for Rumble WrestleMania season. I would not be surprised if we see Liv back, dare I say, early fall. Couple of months, little rehab. I mean, I'm not saying it's for sure, but something to think about. On the injury news wire here, if you haven't seen Cody's podcast where he talks to Kevin Owens, as much as I despise Cody and his incessant need to make sure he's always wearing a suit, which is just obnoxious, is that he got a little update from Kevin Owens about his spinal cord. and about what the surgery is going to entail and when is he going to get surgery. So they're looking at doing surgery probably within the next month. This is according to Kevin. The reason they didn't do surgery right away, which usually is what happens. I mean, usually what you do is the second you leave, the next day you're, under the knife getting cut up and fixed up, and then you start your recovery. But with Kevin Owens and being a spinal injury, they wanted to actually let, according to Kevin Owens, the spinal cord heal itself as much as possible so that when they go in, they don't have to do as much repair as they would have otherwise had to do if he immediately went under the knife. And they really don't know the full extent of it, of course, until they actually go in and see what the whole issue is and try to fix him up. And I mean, the spinal cord, that's no joke. I mean, that's as serious as it gets. Your spinal cord, I mean, I don't need to tell anybody that has back problems, neck problems. It's all connected to your spinal cord. I mean, your whole body, your whole central nervous system is controlled by, of course, your brain, but your spinal cord is connected to every appendage on your body. So Kevin Owens recently started getting numbness in his legs and he's starting to feel pain now, whereas when initially he didn't. So it could be, guys, I mean, this is just my guess. I'm not a doctor, but I've seen neck surgeries before. Stone Cold, of course, we've seen Edge, among others. And my guess, best case scenario, and I hate to say this, say Kevin Owens gets his, his surgery in the next month and then starts the rehab, assuming everything goes well, God willing. My guess is that we're probably looking at WrestleMania 43 as a target, because that's a serious surgery. It probably will be 6 to 12 months, probably 12 months, maybe longer. Again, assuming the healing process is going well, assuming that there's no setbacks. And then he's got to get back into ring shape, because obviously his body's just going to be laying there. He's very limited. He can't really do much. What's he going to do? You can't take bumps. You can't lift weights. You are super limited for a long period of time, even after the surgery. And then you got to slowly build yourself back up. So maybe 12 to 18 months, probably even after his neck surgery. Again, that's me as a fan, a non-doctor's diagnosis from injuries I've seen before with previous stars having neck injuries. So I would say right now, if you want Kevin Owens back in the ring, probably WrestleMania 43. Wherever that may be, Vegas again. I mean, can we do a trifecta? Is that possible? Go for a hat trick? We doing 3 years in a row in Vegas? My guess is that it might be New Orleans if they want to make good on that. Although Money in the Bank is going there, and they're saying that WrestleMania will. If not, I'm thinking it might be London for WrestleMania 43. We'll see. But of course, we got a year and a half to think about it. So kind of some sad news for Kevin, and I feel for him. I mean, and think about the pop Kevin Owens is going to get when he comes back. Good Lord. One more thing before I continue with Raw and finish up Raw. Cody Rhodes recently said, I believe it was also on his podcast, and this is according to WrestleOps, says, quote, "Yes, SummerSlam, I don't want to go as far as making any promises, excuse me, but I can tell you the goal with SummerSlam is if people felt a certain way about WrestleMania, I would put that all on my back and take all the credit and responsibility for perhaps not feeling satisfied. I'd like them to get to the finish line with SummerSlam. Very much looking forward to doing this dance again." That's WrestleOps. They didn't say where that quote came from, but with Cody Rhodes having his own podcast with What Do You Want to Talk About, it's very possible it was done there, or if you did an interview, I have to see. But WrestleOps, pretty credible source on X. And I believe that. I mean, that's a totally believable statement. If I was Cody too, I'd be thinking the same thing. Man, we really blew it with WrestleMania 41 in one of the worst finishes of all time. The company took a massive backlash from the fans that still exists to this day. And I will lead that charge because it was just horrifyingly bad. But the next thing I'd say is, okay, let's make good. We can't go back and fix anything. We can't bring The Rock in, to at least make good on that promise. We can't improve the quality of a match that already happened. So let's just go forward and make it better. It's the only thing you can do. And that's what they're going to do, presumably with Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at SummerSlam. They are going to try to make good on what should have happened at WrestleMania, which makes me think that they're going to, you know what I would do if I were them? I would just do the WrestleMania finish that should have happened. Let's not complicate it. Which means we have, maybe, you want to bring Travis Scott in? Bring that stupid little SOB. Bring him in. Bring him in and have Cody actually give him a true receipt. Not the softest finish of all time, which is not a receipt. That's not the initial purchase he made either, okay? The initial purchase he made was a full-fledged shot to the face that was not a worked punch. Cody returned in kind with the softest finish of all time on him, and now, hey, it's time to give him a true receipt. That's what I would do. I would bring his stupid ass in, have Cody do that. We have John Cena go with the championship. Cody Rhodes ducks it, hits John Cena with the championship. This time he doesn't look like a fool. And then have Cody Rhodes hit the crossroads, and you can have Cody Rhodes capture the belt at SummerSlam. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But sure, if you want to also have Dwayne come out of, his home, or if he's done letting his kids put makeup on him or whatever he's doing to try to be relatable or funny, which, I mean, honestly, the more The Rock does, the more I'm actually annoyed by it. Like, things changed for me, how I view him after WrestleMania. And he could say, oh, you're getting worked up about a work. It's a work. You're working yourself into a work, shoot, work. Shut up. No, it's really this simple. There's no need to complicate this thing here, Dwayne. Ever since you did that and then said that you're not part of the story, and we all went through this a gazillion times, right? And then he went on and doubled down and made it worse on the Pat McAfee show by saying, that it's, of course it's all the work, and, I didn't want the spotlight on me, and all the stupid stuff he said that just, again, enhanced the bonfire that was already going on. And it really is this simple, though. You started a story. You did not make good on the fans. You never apologized. You doubled down on your creative decision. And then you tried to say that wrestling's a work. It always has been. No one's disputing that, Dwayne. No one's disputing what we're watching is a work. What we're angry with is the way that you're telling the story at the biggest event of the year, on the biggest spot, on the biggest show of the entire year. That's the issue we have. So, and again, my view of him, I'm just annoyed by his posts, and it's just, I don't know, like, how I view him has changed. And that's, that's just the way it is for me. Some of you don't take it as seriously as I did, and that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to, but that's just my personal take on it. But yeah, sure, you could have Dwayne come out and do what should have been done at WrestleMania. You could very well do that. And I wouldn't be sad with that. I think that would be a way to tell fans, hey, yeah, look, we done effed up. Here's our mulligan. Here you go. Well, let's continue with Raw. So we had a Kairi Sane video package air. Of course, it had a pirate theme and spoke about how she's not afraid of anything. And the Pirate Princess is here. Yes. We're very, very scared, Kairi. Look, I like Kairi Sane. I think she's extraordinary in the ring. I really enjoy her work. But what the hell is a Pirate Princess? I might have said this before. It feels like she just asked AI, can you come up with a wrestling personality, wrestling gimmick? And they spit out Pirate Princess. Because what the hell is that? It's like she's trying to be different, and it is different, but we don't know why. She doesn't know why. It's just different. There's nothing that in her in-ring ability, her really anything outside of like the little feather in her cap that she wears to the ring. Nothing about pirates has anything to do with who she is. at all. Maybe she was watching Pirates of the Caribbean. And she's watching Johnny Depp and she's like, oh, you know, that'd be an awesome idea if I go to the ring like that. No. Like, are you Paul Burchill? I don't understand. Like, and I appreciate the effort, but no one knows what a pirate princess is. No one knows what you mean by pirate. Why are we supposed to be scared about pirates? I'm tearing her gimmick down because it's just a generic AI-generated gimmick with no substance. At the same time, I recognize how awesome she is in the ring, and she's trying to differentiate herself, which I totally respect. But if you're going to come to the dance here with a gimmick that's different, okay, number one, that's good. Step one. Step two is, how do we implement that, and how does that relate at all to my character? And why am I a pirate princess? Just basic questions that you should be able to answer. Basic. That's another one why a lot of fans, like, they like her in-ring work, but they can't relate to her. They can't. I mean, remember when she returned in Saudi last year? Or was it last year, the year before? No reaction at all. Zero. The biggest reaction she got was when she was with Asuka as the Kabuki Warriors. That's it. All right. See how important gimmick is? I mean, look, I'm just a fan. Okay? The WWE, especially the wrestlers, if anybody listens to this, they'd be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay? Oh, he's never stepped foot in the ring. As if stepping foot in the ring and actually being a wrestler is some kind of pre-qualification for me to have an opinion. Or the problem is it's not the pre-approved opinions that they want, but that doesn't disqualify my opinion. My opinion's either right or it's wrong. It has nothing to do with my actual credentials of being a part of what you do. Okay? And that goes for everything. If someone who has nothing to do and has never stepped foot in the space that you work in, say you're a doctor, and you're saying, you know, oh, well, no, look, I think it's this, doc. And the doctor says, I don't know, it's this. And you say, well, I don't know, doc. It probably is this. And you end up being right. Well, are you right because you're just simply right factually, or is your opinion discredited because you are a patient and you've never been a doctor before? You're not telling somebody how to, you know, perform brain surgery. Most people don't have an opinion on that. Most people wouldn't even try. I'm going way off the beaten path here, but my point is, so many times WWE, I'm sure, well, it's said behind closed doors about fans like myself, who, I'm not everything's about me. I'm not saying me specifically, just the fans who have an opinion that WWE doesn't like are the ones that'll say, oh, they've never stepped foot in the ring. Okay. I don't need to have an opinion, which, by the way, I'm the one that actually, you know, pays the bills for WWE in a very, 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 very small part. But I'm giving you money. You get to perform while I give you my money. And then I am also obligated to give you my opinion. And if I want to, I will. And by the way, I think I know as a fan what actually attracts me to the product. Wouldn't I know better than anybody if I'm the one willing to give up freely, give up my time and money for something that's extracurricular, it's not a requirement of my life? Wouldn't I know better than anyone about what attracts me to a product and what makes me want to invest more time and more money into said product? Wouldn't I know better since I'm the one doing it? You know, and when I say I mean if any fan could say that. Where am I going with this? I don't know. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Bayley versus Lyra for a shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Bayley fights Lyra to a draw. Yes, a draw in 10 minutes and 15 seconds after it was kind of a double pin, but it was only because both women's backs were on the mat. So a double pin. Crowd didn't like it, but I don't mind it. Both Bayley and Lyra held up their arms as if they had won. Referees explaining to the ring announcer that both shoulders of both the women were down, and therefore it was a draw. And then Bayley and Valkyria fought to ringside, and then Adam Pearce and a bunch of producers pulled the wrestlers apart, and Cole said Becky Lynch would be happy about the draw because no one became the number one contender. Ah, yes. Yes, the old tried and true logic of a number one contenders match that doesn't end in a definitive finish, resulting in no number one contender. Yes, that is absolutely 100% of the time the outcome, isn't it? Of course it is. This certainly, absolutely will not result in a triple threat. Nope. It just means there's nobody to contend for the title. I guess that's it. Well, yeah, we throw our hands up. Well, I guess that's it. Sure. So Graves then announced Seth Rollins and LA Knight for Saturday night's main event. That's going to be fun. Don't forget, Saturday night's main event is a thing because there's a PLE before the PLE. And then Jackie Redmond caught up with CM Punk in the backstage area, and Punk said Seth's knees haven't worked well in years as they did when he ran away, and Punk spotted LA Knight and said that Knight should get in line for Rollins, and Knight informed Punk about the Saturday night main event match and said that that means he is on the line. Or he is the line, I should say. All right, backstage, Sammy's wrapping his ribs, and Penta shows up, and Zayn told him he'd see him in the ring for their tag match. Let's see here. Penta was in the ring coming out of the break, and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn and Penta. This match was the main event here. It went 8 minutes and 15 seconds with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker beating Sami Zayn and Penta. The finish was Zayn trying to suplex Reed, who originally at first couldn't do it. Penta clothesline Reed over the top rope, and then Zayn suplexed Reed. Breaker entered the ring, speared Zayn, and covered him for the 3 count. They were trying to say that he was trying to do a blue thunder bomb on Bronson Reed. No. At first I was thinking to myself, oh God, I want to see that. But no, it's just a regular suplex. So it's kind of disappointing. I believe it was Cole who said he was trying to do a blue thunder bomb, and I'm like, really? And then I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, he's not setting up for a blue thunder bomb here. I'd love to see if he could do that, but I think the laws of physics have something else to say on that. So it ended up being a regular suplex, which is fine. You build up a smaller guy trying to suplex a bigger guy. That's a fun spot because it builds anticipation. It's fun. That's okay. Blue thunder bomb would have been more fun, but more realistically, a suplex is just fine. So after the match, Breaker speared Penta, and then Reed dragged Zayn into position for his finish, while Breaker cleared Penta from the ring, and Breaker held Zayn's legs. But then Jey Uso comes out because they were interrupted by the entrance music, which of course forces everyone in the ring to just play the game freeze, like you're in 3rd grade again. Yeah. If you hear another wrestler's entrance music, even if you're about to win a match or if you're about to perform a big move or to avoid a move, nope, everyone freeze. You don't move. It's a pro wrestling rule. All right, Jey Uso comes out with a chair, hit Breaker at ringside, and then he entered the ring and threw punches at Reed, hit him with a super kick, threw a chair at Reed's head, which Reed wisely put his hands up, and God, I missed chair shots to the head. If there was a way, man, to stay 100% safe with chairs, I miss chair shots to the head. And you do too. You know you do. I have no shame in admitting that. I would absolutely say that concussions are not worth that risk. Totally agree, and I would ban them as well. But if in an alternate universe there was a way to have as brutal of a chair shot as you want to the skull and have people bleed again and also make sure that they don't get a concussion, if there was such a thing, I would sign up for it yesterday. But, I mean, can't they make a chair that's a little worked? It's not steel. It's made out of some kind of like cookie tray or something. I mean, can't they do something that's a material that cannot give you a concussion? There's got to be a way to have a steel chair do that. I mean, there's got to be work chairs. They can't work with some kind of manufacturer. Or, I don't know. I miss it, man. They make work tables. I mean, they make work tables all the time, and trash cans that are made out of essentially, molded aluminum foil. So why can't they make a worked chair? I miss it. So we then get Jay's music playing while he helps Zayn and Penta to their feet, and that's it. And then, of course, it's like a movie now or a TV show that ends right at the end and says the executive producer credits were shown. I will say the executive producer credits, it does make it feel like more like a TV show. When I see that, I haven't really ever talked about that before with Paul Levesque and I forget whoever the other executive creative guy is. I forget. But the one thing about those credits is it makes it feel like a more like a TV show, which is also a negative that it makes it feel like more like a TV show. Why? Because this should not be a TV show feel. It should feel like we have cameras for this event in which we just happen to have, a brawl going on and we happen to be catching things that are happening organically and live. Instead of just like, okay, that's it, folks. Show's over and fade to black. The spontaneity of it, I don't know. Do we really need the credits? What's the purpose of the credits? We know who's behind creative. I don't want it to feel like a TV show. I don't want it to feel more like a TV show. I want it to feel more like a spontaneous, simulated sport. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but do they have credits at the end of a football game? At the NFL? I don't think so. Do they have at the end of a baseball game? No. So, I don't know. Okay. Well, overall, a decent show. A decent show. We got Saturday Night Main Event to look forward to. Evolution follows 2 weeks later on July 13th. And so that's going to be a fun event with Evolution. And hey, we haven't had an all-women's PLE in since the original Evolution again. I think that was like 2018, 2019. So quite a long time ago since we've had it. It's kind of mind-boggling it has taken this long to have a second Evolution PLE. But I misspoke, though. I did say that the Saturday Night Main Event is 2 weeks before. No, it's the night before. I meant to say that. Saturday Night's Main Event is the night before Evolution. So that's taking place in Atlanta on July 12th. With obviously headlined by Goldberg versus Gunther. And then the next night is the Evolution 2 PLE. So, fun time here. I'm glad you guys stuck with me. If you did, thank you. If you liked the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple or on Spotify, wherever you listen to the show. If you want to go ad-free, patreon.com/WWE podcast or Apple Podcasts. Both offer ad-free experiences. I'll be back on Friday with your mailbag. If you want to email us, mailbag@wwepodcast.com is the place to go. And if you become a patron, you get your emails read up front. So a little bit of an extra perk there as well. So thank you, everybody. If you want to follow me on X, search the WWE Podcast. I'm right there. And until next time, take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.